Thanks again for joining us this morning on Focus on the Farm. We're focusing on harvest safety. Harvest has already started for some, and for others, it looks like this week more combines will start to roll here in the Hoosier State. It's also a pressure-packed time of the year for growers, and it's really easy to take shortcuts that can turn a warm fall harvest day into tragedy. As combines are rolling in the fields, it's important for all of us to think about safety. And as part of National Farm Safety and Health Week, Di Shahari with DeKalb Asgrow is out reminding growers of a few important safety tips. Di, thanks for taking some time this morning for us. It goes without saying that harvest is a very hectic season for farmers.
We're heading into a season where everything just gets busy, right? We're trying to get the crop out of the field and we have a limited amount of time. Mother Nature doesn't always work in our favor. So as things get busier, let's remember to slow down. I'm not saying it's easy to slow down, but let's remember to take that extra caution. When we're pulling a piece of equipment out, do a quick walk around. When we're driving down the road and we see a large piece of equipment going down the road, don't assume that they see you. Give them enough space. Slow down. That's really the biggest premise that tends to solve a lot of the challenges that we face when we get busy is if you can slow down and take just a little bit extra caution, it will potentially save a life.
Well, that is a great point because, we're talking about some huge machinery that can cause pretty significant damage in a heartbeat.
When you first jump into a new piece of equipment, just be aware of your surroundings by taking a quick walk around. That's something that we've always recommended. These are big pieces of machinery, and you don't always see exactly what's on the other side or what's right behind you in a blind spot. So a quick walk around goes a long way. Now, when you're following behind a large piece of equipment, give them space. Don't assume that they see you. Use as much caution as you can when you're around them. And then certainly give them right away. They've been working long hours many times. Their equipment doesn't always move as fast as we want. So just give them space and give them the right of way.
That seems like one of the biggest issues each year. People that find themselves frustrated on a country road during harvest, trying to pass a combine going 8 or 10 miles an hour. Here's a note for city folk. If you're in a hurry, don't take a country road during harvest. And Di, one of the other issues we hear a lot about during these busy times of the year is grain bin safety.
When it comes to grain bin safety, there's a lot of moving pieces. And speaking of moving pieces, an auger is a key portion of getting that crop into the grain bin. Let's take precaution when we're around augers. Just because a little piece of trash or something's stuck at the bottom, don't think you can just quickly move in and remove it. Take a lot of precaution out there because it takes a split second for that auger to grab a hold of your fingers, your hand, and chew it up pretty quickly. And then when you're up on the grain bins, let's not take those extra steps where we think we can just balance it out. Let's take all the precaution we can to make sure that we're sturdy, that we're safe. And then if you're on the grain bin and you're by yourself, make sure someone knows what you're doing, where you're working, so that they know to check on you and or help you if something came about.
And one last reminder, I've heard you talk about keeping family informed about where you're at and where you're going pretty much at all times.
Working on a farm is like being part of a big team, and you always want to know that you have a little bit of a buddy system, right? So letting your team know, letting your buddy know on the team where you're at is critical, especially when it comes to safety reasons.
So when it comes to farming, it's always Farm Safety and Health Week. Di Shahari with DeKalb Asgrow and Bayer, thanks so much for your time this week. And all of us here at Midwest Ag, take extra care to stay rested and be safe this harvest season. Well, this past week was a crazy week for the grain market with a lot of losses and very few gains. Coley and Kavanaugh will break it all down for us coming up next.
Podcasts by Federated Media.